I have not anchored in 50 feet of water since probably the Solomon Islands. Roti is a small island about 500-ish nautical miles east of Bali. It's pretty well known for surfing, and I would like to think that the majority of the tourists who come there do so for that reason. There's two ways to get there if you don't have your own boat. One is a local ferry from Kupang, which is the town that Dan and I cleared into on Gek, and the other is a flight. It was probably one of my favorite places that I've sailed to in Indonesia thus far. We've been really spoiled in Australia with nice shallow anchorages, often in like 12 to 20 feet, which has been amazing, so I just need to get used to. The thing is, I only have 120 feet of chain, so when I'm in 50 feet of water, it's not that much scope, but it's always done me well. My little deltoid, the Delta, for those of you who want the real name of it, does a really good job of holding, and someone was telling me there's like an equation for the deeper you get, the less scope you need because of the weight of the chain, blah blah blah. But anyway, hopefully it holds, because it's really hard to up it by hand when it's this deep, and poor Dan would have to do that while I just man the helm. Woman the helm. One of the first things Dan and I did when we got to Roti was to fill in the very confusing green booklet that you get when you clear into Indonesia. No one really knows what to do with this booklet. Apparently, every time you check into an official port, you're supposed to go to the harbor master and get them to issue you a new cruising permit and stamp the book. However, most of the places you sail to in Indonesia are not official ports. But then some people are worried that if you don't get these signatures in the books, you could get in trouble. So it's entirely possible and probable that you will cruise around Indonesia and never go to one of these ports unless you're going to Bali or somewhere bigger. We just wanted to play by the rules and do the right thing. So Ba'a is the main port in Roti. When we got there, we rented scooters to get to the immigration office to see the harbor master and get his stamp in our book. While we had the scooters, we did a little road trip around Roti for the day, which was just stunningly beautiful.
A local safari tour.
Getting our signature and stamp was very straightforward. Everyone was super friendly. We basically went into the harbor master's office with all of our paperwork, passports. I have photocopies of everything so I can give them to people. They took our cruising permit, issued us a new one, stamped the book, and we felt like we officially belonged in Roti, following all the rules that Indonesia had set out for us. Our time in Roti felt a bit like a holiday. We'd worked so hard in Australia to sail through really strong winds to get up the Great Barrier Reef, rushed over to Darwin only to discover that we had to wait a couple weeks to get my roller furling sail. The install took longer than we expected. We had issues with Dan's visa. We fully intended on being in Indonesia at least a month earlier than when we actually got there. So by the time we finally arrived, we just felt like we were in full holiday mode. And I'd like to just share with you one of our many, many amazing days that we spent in Roti. Good morning. This video is one awesome day in Indonesia. Worked so hard to get here. And so we woke up. It was still dark, but I forgot I was going to film this today, so I'm doing it right as we're about to leave. I have my zinc on, full face zinc. I went for the face colored zinc. Dan went for the white face colored zinc. So the surf break is over there. We're anchored here, and land is there. So we're just gonna grab our surfboards, which are on the deck, y'all, in this little bag. We're both surfing 6-footers. Dan's is just a slightly less buoyant version. It's just patches over here. And yeah, we're just gonna hop in the dinghy and head over there. I'm not gonna bring the GoPro with me because you can't really film surf very easily, and neither of us is really good enough for you to want to see
Spend 2 hours
what
watching us
we
not
have
surf.
to do. Yeah, you can just watch me try to paddle for all the waves.
Step
and
one,
not catch them. So yeah, first thing surfing. We're probably gonna be out for a couple hours. See you when we get back. That was the best surf of my life. I'm just kidding. There was no wave. We got out there and it's pretty windy today, and the high tide is not good for surfing this break, and it was pretty much high tide, so we got our sunscreen on, got in the dinghy, went over, and there was nothing, so we came home. But yesterday we got up before sunrise and went over there, and we had a really quiet wave. There's only one other person on it, and it was just really fun. It's been about 6 months since I've been surfing, and so I'm on a new board now. I was on a bigger foam board before, and then I've sort of graduated to the smaller one, but that's a big learning curve too. So it was just a bit of a remembering how to do it day, but felt really good once I started to stand up on some of the smaller waves. It was really fun. But yeah, today no surf. Probably not until later, and there was supposed to be a really big swell coming in here, so I think a bunch of people have shown up for that. The big swell's not happening, but we found yesterday this amazing kite beach on the southeast tip of the island. So there's reef, and then you get really clean waves, and it looks like there's some flat areas of the water and then some waves to play in as well, so you have a little bit of both, which is very unusual to get both in one spot, but very cool because it means you're not ever going to get bored with whatever you're doing. So we're going to have some breakfast and then just get on the scooter and head over to the kite spot. All right, second part of our day, we're going kiting. So we have kite bag 1 with our dry clothes and snacks and line and stuff in it, and then everything's a bit torn apart right now. Dan's doing the gas, kiteboard stuff. We're going to get in the dinghy and head over there.
So we had some difficulties finding a kite spot. When we turned up, I went out, but it was a low tide, so there's basically no water, and then out in the waves, they were like 8-foot swell, all sorts of different direction, breaking onto reef, just no good. But we kept at it, we didn't really want to quit. Like, this was the plan for the day. We both love kiting, we've got kite wind, and we have found an absolute gem of a spot. It's come together really nicely. Hopefully this place will open later and sell some coffee or beer. But right now it's closed. We mopeded right up to the beach. Pantai Loedi. It's just a bit further down, but they happen to have a foot more water. It's kind of still hectic, it's pretty shallow. There's probably only one place where you could practice your jumps. But it's bloody gorgeous. I'm shouting through the wind, I don't know if it'll still work. This is our spot that we've set up. Anyone that's not kiting is just getting wind blasted, but that's totally worth it. And yeah, so the tide's coming in, but the tidal difference is only a foot still, so we're not expecting much more. But that's Holly out there playing in the waves, giving it a go. It's a bloody gorgeous spot, and it's a completely private beach. I assume everyone else is around the other side avoiding the wind, so amazing. Lucky for us, Holly's just having a little go in the waves. What a day. We didn't get to surf this morning, but yesterday's surf was amazing. Holly learned to motorbike yesterday. She had 2 practices and was fine, so now we're out on the open road, heading to the bar. Look at this Sheila, I think she's in 3rd gear already. Absolute madness. Terrifying, really. Uphill, downhill, corners. Nothing's phasing this Sheila. Never had to brake with a foot before, look at that. Whee! Oh, yeah. Wow, nicely done. Embarrassingly to say, I did way worse than this. First time I tried. First overtake on camera here. That man's got a gun too, you don't want to mess that up. Now we're out kiting. Truly living the dream. We spent 5 months working really hard in Australia to get here, and here we are. Absolutely loving it.
All right, Dan and I have moved down to the other side of the beach because it's just a little bit nicer place to kite, and we've been at it for a couple hours now, kind of hungry, so I'm gonna take you over to the scooter where I have a surprise snack. It's not a surprise for anyone but you guys. Let's go. I mean, how great is this? We have this entire beach to ourselves. Not a single other person, lots of fun waves to play in. That's down out there right now, and it's sort of flat for jumps. There he goes, nope. little guy. I was playing out in the surf earlier and it was really fun. I did cut my foot on the coral, but hazard of the occupation, I suppose. Whee! There he goes. They sell these tiny watermelons at the market for about 50 cents a pop, so we bought a few. Dad's been obsessed with them, but we forgot to bring a way to open it exactly, so I'm just going to try to hit it with this rock. Ooh, it's fun. And just for good measure, also with this sharp pointy stick, we are doing it island style. I found this stick on the beach. I did not make it myself. Half for me, half for Dan when he gets in. He's gonna be so pleased. I'm such a housewife.
When I wear my colored glasses, the sun comes shining through. Wearing my rose-colored glasses, the world looks shiny and new. The skies are ever so blue. I'm happy through and through. Wearing my rose-colored glasses, I tell you what I see. You are still here with me. When I'm feeling lonely, I'm putting my glasses on. Whenever I'm sad, I'll wear them the whole night long. I'm chasing the clouds away. I just can't stand the rain. I was lost for a while, but I found me a better way. I'm losing my mind, ignoring all the pain. When putting my glasses on, sunny days just go on and on and on. I wear my colored glasses, the sun comes shining through. Wearing my rose-colored glasses, the world looks shiny and new. The skies are ever so blue. I'm happy through and through. I'm wearing my rose-colored glasses. I tell you what I see. You are still here with me. Everything looks better when I'm looking through this colored lens. 'Cause life's too hard and the world don't make no sense. I'm putting my glasses on. All of my troubles are gone.
These melons cost us $65,000. $4 for 6 melons, and they're all delicious. Well, we've had 2 already, which was not part of the money that I just described, and they were delicious.
We're heading into the little town of Roti. Once a week, there's a little market in Roti where you can get all of your fresh fruits and veggies. The boat is over there. The surf's not really on today, but that's normally where the huge wave is, and then there's the smaller wave over there, and then this is all the local boats. sometimes there's about 30 fishing boats anchored in here. Tuesday is market day, so we're going in. You have to hit it pretty early to get the vegetables that you need. We're taking off tomorrow for Lombok, so we're gonna stock up on veg for the passage. It's gonna be a bit of a rough passage, pretty big beam seas, so we're not really gonna get much that needs to be cooked, so probably just tomatoes and cukes and stuff that we can cut up and enjoy raw. The beach is really cute. Sometimes at low tide, the water stops being water about here and turns into a series of puddles. But right now it's high tide, so we're just gonna zoom right on in and I'll just film around so you can see a bit of the town. We've been here about a week and a half. I haven't really filmed because I've just been busy enjoying myself, taking a little holiday, but I don't want you to miss it because it's a really cute town.
How much of that you'll hear in the engine noise?
I think all of it. This is the little beach.
The steed.
The steed. And that's where we're up.
Pagi.
Berapa?
Love it. I don't know if the cows are for sale. I don't know if the cows know if they're for sale.
We could.
They're about to slaughter one. They've got it hanging off the tailgate. The worst tailgate
crazy
party that chicken's ever had.
We spent less than $10 on groceries at the market and managed to get 2 full shopping bags worth of fresh produce. We've become pretty obsessed with the chilies. There's long ones and short ones. The long ones they call tourist chilies, and they're not as spicy but have delicious flavor. And the short ones are pretty spicy. So normally if we're making scrambled eggs in the morning, we'll put in 3 short ones and maybe 2 long ones. Sorry, reverse that. 3 long ones, 2 short ones. The long ones give the flavor, the short ones give the oomph. We definitely got our chili taste buds up to snuff after spending enough time in Indonesia. The market was a really fun way for us to start to learn our numbers so that we could haggle, and it just made us feel like we were a bit more part of the culture once you start to learn the language a little bit, even if it's just numbers.
We were all packed up and ready to go kiting. Wind's picked up, water's at the right depth, been waiting for the morning, and then somebody, aka me, had rested the foil in this space here, not realizing how delicate it was, and ripped this out of the deck. So before we go kiting now, we're going to remove the screws, take it all off, epoxy fill the holes, and then once that's dried we'll drill them and re-screw with some fresh sealant. We can call it maintenance, you know, we're just re-sealing it. That's not the truth. A little indoor epoxy making. The area is cleaned. We hand drilled each of the holes out because they were filled with rubber, and then we've left a little bit of rubber at the bottom to hopefully catch the epoxy fill so it can set where it's meant to be. Not high hopes for the first attempt, but yeah, let's see.
Can you explain why it's hard to fill those holes with epoxy?
Yeah, because they're just straight holes, so you put epoxy in it and the epoxy falls through the hole.
So the problem with this area up top where we're trying to fill the holes is that whole thing is hollow. So there's nothing really for the epoxy to stick to when it goes in. So we're gonna have to make a really, really, really gloopy first amount of glue and hope it doesn't fall through the hole, hope it sticks and dries. And then when that's dried, put a second coat over it that'll fill the rest of the hole, but it's possible that we'll put it in and it'll just fall straight through. This has been sort of the bane of my life for the last 5 years.
We'll mix it thick, we'll let it sort of half dry, and then we'll putty it in.
Yeah.
And it should be good.
Yeah, hopefully. But that's why it's hard.
I've practiced fixing many surfboards.
I made up a really thick glue. I'm gonna just come film this for a sec. It's super, like, I don't know, thicker than I'd ever normally make it, but I didn't want it to drip through these holes. And basically what we did, if you want to just film the holes, is I went in with this little cardboard tape thing and pushed as much as I could in, and Dan took a broken rusty drill bit and just pushed it in, and then I kept refilling the holes and he kept pushing it in until we reached a point that we thought we were probably just pushing it into the hollow. So we're just gonna let it sit for a bit. If the epoxy hasn't started to cure too much, we'll try to do one more with it dry, but I kind of think this is gonna be it because it's all nicely binded together, and then we'll just see what happens when we come back. We might have to do more epoxy on top, or maybe it's thick enough that it's gonna set flat. Well, we're gonna leave that to dry now and go kiting, and then just come back a bit earlier than we originally intended to, so that we can finish this project up in the light, because we're planning on leaving tomorrow at sunrise, so we don't want to have too late of a night. But we're just gonna do it like that. That's what gecko looks like without a dodger. Yeah, we are here at the kite spot. This is where we've been going the last 4 times we've been kiting. It's nice because there's these boats here that we put all our stuff on, so we don't just get everything completely sandy like we did the first day. This is the highest tide we've ever seen. Normally there's reef that breaks the swell and it's super flat in here, but it's the new moon, so it's very high highs and very low lows, so I don't even know where we're gonna set up. Maybe way over there. Anyway, it's a beautiful white sand beach, and usually there's no other people here, just the 2 of us. It's really awesome. Occasionally someone will go for a beach walk, or a local will come down, or kids will come and play, but for the most part we are just the 2 of us. And that's how we get out of here. Thanks for coming along to Roti with us. We had an amazing time. And the only reason that we left as soon as we did is because we had plane tickets to go to England to visit Dan's family. I got to meet them all. We filmed a little bit there, and I will be sharing some of our travels with you, some of the parts that I think you might be interested in. But the next episode is going to be our sail from Roti to Lombok. Many encounters with fads, unlit fishing boats, weird currents, etc., etc. Cruising around Indonesia definitely is not easy. In fact, I would hazard to say it's probably some of the hardest sailing I've done, just because of all the currents and the weird wind and lack of wind and things to hit in the water that are not very obvious. So thank you for watching this week's video. I put out new videos every 2 weeks on YouTube, and for my patrons, you guys get a snack on the weeks that I don't put out a full-length YouTube episode. Thank you so much to my patrons for supporting me and making this trip possible. I couldn't do it without you guys. And if you are one of my patrons, you know my exciting news about a very cool sailing adventure that I'm embarking on pretty soon, that I will be sharing on YouTube within the next month or so. But I'm giving updates to my patrons on that. It's not on my boat. It's not anywhere remotely close to the regions that I've been sailing in. It's not warm. Those are my clues. But I'm very excited for this opportunity. So, yeah, probably in the next 2 months, I'll be posting all of that on YouTube, so look forward to that. Thank you guys for your comments. I love reading them. If you'd like to become a patron, I have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/wow, okay, cut! We're starting that over. If you'd like to become a patron, my Patreon is patreon.com/windhippie. And for one-time donations, I have a PayPal, paypal.me/windhippie. if I don't say it in that order, I forget what I'm saying, but I've said it so many times that I guess that's the only way I know how to do it. I also have merchandise, all in the links below. That is all for now. Thanks for watching this ridiculous final segment. And patrons, I'll see you next week with a snack, and my YouTube family, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks with another full-length episode.